Hello, and welcome to Table Talk Friday, your weekly dose of D&D hosted by three boys in a bedroom. If you like their style, you can follow them on Instagram, YouTube, and other social media platforms. And now, back to the boys.
All right, Drew. So, back into some quick Magic the Gathering talk before we get into our topic, because it's related.
Magic the Gathering Fridays, let's go.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering Fridays. We played this weekend. We play lots of weekends. And I wanna tell a story from a few months ago when I first started playing with this specific group, because it's gonna segue really well into our topic for this week.
Okay.
Months ago, maybe 5-6 months ago, I started playing with a specific group, and at one point in a game, because there were 6 of us playing, typically you're playing with like 4 people, but we had a lot of people there and we didn't want to make everybody split up, so we're playing with 6, and we're playing in teams of 2 as we go around the table. And there was a moment in the game where I was like, oh my god, I forgot to do this thing. Is it okay if I do it now? And one of the people at the table was like, oh no, we're not going to go back like that far in the game. If you wanted to cast an instant, you should have done it then. I was like, okay, you know what? No problem. I forgot. It's all good. So I asked, I got told no, and I was like, okay, whatever. Yesterday, we're playing a game. And, I'm not going to say anybody's names because I think all these people are great people.
Yep.
So we're in a game, and one of the players who we're hanging out with, he has a child, and he's taking care of the child a little bit while we're playing. Is not paying attention to the game for a few seconds, and my wife and I are on a team. She's doing some spells and stuff, and we get to the attack phase, so we need him to pay attention. We're like, hey, we're doing attacks, and we go to combat. She's like, okay, I'm swinging this. All these counters are going to get added to all my creatures. Damage time. And he's like, wait, what things did you summon this round? And what's causing this to happen? And she's like, oh, well, this one is doubling the amount of counters I put on. And then this other thing I have on the board is doubling the doubled counters that I'm putting on. So it's quadrupling the amount of +1/+1 counters on things. And he goes, okay, now, sorry, I'm going to counterspell that spell that you cast. And we're further in, we're out of the main phase where we summon things. We're into the combat step.
Oh,
right?
hell no.
And so we're like, okay. And I said, I was like, she's we're past that point. I don't think we should be able to do that. And he was like, well, I was taking care of the kid and everything. And, in that moment, we were both and Gabby says, she's like, I'm not going to allow that to happen again, but I'll allow it this time. And then as we're going into it, as we're going into the thing, he goes, wait a second. Okay, it says can I just target the ability of the doubling counters as opposed to just the creatures? That way you guys can keep your creature. And we were like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. Technically, wouldn't work that way, right? In the game, it would counter the ability going off on one of the creatures, not all of them. But to compromise and keep the table happy, we were like, whatever, it's fine. We'll probably lose off of this, but it's fine. Because what we were doing would have killed them.
So a little hypocritical, but I see where where he was going with that.
And he was the person who told me months ago that we're not doing that. Same person. And so I thought of that when we got in the car, and I was like, this thing happened, but I wasn't that beat up about it, because regardless, he was playing a deck that we had to take care of right away, and they also had to take care of us because we could kill them, meaning the other people on the table were not being targeted at all, and they won the game because we basically killed each other.
Maybe we could turn this into a spin-off game, like Magic Boxing, like they do chess boxing.
Yeah.
So that way you could duke it out. I don't want to allow you to do that. Fight me, and whoever wins. That's how it resolves.
Yeah. We can do that. We just go over to the side. We're gonna go outside into the ring and tussle a little bit.
yeah. But I only want to play that game with people that are smaller than me, though. I don't like playing with larger people.
I would only want to play if they were 13 or younger. I wouldn't want to do that if they were an adult.
When that guy's baby starts playing, let me know. I'll play. I'll play that baby any day.
Okay, regardless, the baby was adorable. She was sitting at the table, and when things would happen and we would all get excited, she would get excited too. She's not even a year old.
I can't get past it. I'm in baby fever mode right now. I have a family Eric that is having a little baby Eric, and I'm like, oh. And their socks are so small, and it's so cute. And I'm looking at all these babies on TV, and I'm starting to cry.
We had 3 sets of friends have children in the last 6 months. And so we see their children and stuff. We get pictures and everything. And now my cats are my children. every time the cats show emotion towards me, I'm like, oh, you're my little child. I love you so much. And
that's so quick,
both the
man.
cats have chosen their favorite parent. Shinx loves me and Haunter loves Gabby.
Oh, that's perfect.
And so it's funny because there was a point with Shinx where like she was always following me around and we only had one cat. And we were kind of like in this zone where I was like, I feel bad because Shinx, like you can tell, she just loves me so much. And then once we got Haunter, I was like, in my mind, I really wanted Haunter to not favor me because I was like, I can't have two of them on me constantly. And luckily, it ended up that way.
It's funny because I think at the beginning you always do. You want all the pets, of course, to go right to you. It's like, oh yeah, I'm the best. I'm the dad here, right? But then, so like recently, Peanut swapped. I think he swapped over to me versus my wife, and I feel great about that. But then it slowly degraded to the point where like, please leave me alone. Please go away. Go like my wife more, please, for the love of God. And so I'll like leave the room, like, oh, I guess you have to go hang out with mom. Oh, it's hysterical the way that the dynamic works with who they like more. But
oh yeah, absolutely. So with the whole story that went on like drama wise, it kind of made me think because there was tension at the table afterwards, right? Where it was like, okay, we've set it off to the side, but I'm still feeling it a little bit. I'm still feeling it inside a little bit. And this can come up in D&D games too. Not with our current group, but we've played with many groups in the past, and I have definitely felt that feeling before where someone did something or a call was made, and it felt like there was an air of tension at the table afterwards. Specifically one time, Lanky Eric, one of our friends, our original DM, he was playing in a one-off that I was running. And I remember they were doing a heist where they had to like break into a casino type area and steal an artifact from an auction and take it back to their handler. So they're breaking into this place and he's like, okay, I'm a druid, because he thinks druid is the most overpowered class that exists, thanks to the fact that you can change into like an animal and not be seen. Like, oh, I'm going to change into an ant and I'll have like 1 hit point, but I can crawl everywhere I want to go. And so
it's pretty strong, but you know,
yeah.
Not like end all be all.
He would gamify it to where he's like, he thinks in his head it's the most powerful thing ever. He was like, okay, where are the windows on this building? And I said, oh, there's a window about 15 feet up. And he goes, okay, well, I'm a cat right now, so I'll jump up to it. And I said, cats can't jump 15 feet. I know I've told versions of this story in the past. I was like, cats can't jump 15 feet. And I was like, okay, so off of D&D rules, quote unquote, you know, it would be your strength times whatever, or 1/3 of your strength is your jump height. And I was like, okay, so that's the jump height. And he goes, yeah, but I'm a cat. Like, you've seen cats, they can jump really high. And I told him, I said, if you roll an athletics check and get a nat 20, I'll let you jump 15 feet by explaining it to me. I said, otherwise, we're just going to go off like the rules is written, or you can find another way up. There's plenty of other ways for you to get up there that don't involve you jumping a vertical of 15 feet. And he goes, Seth, cats can jump on top of fridges. And I said, where's the 15-foot fridge that you're making up right now? When's the last time you saw a 15-foot fridge? And he pulls up a video and shows me a video of a cat jumping on top of a fridge. And I was like, that's very impressive, but that fridge is 6 feet tall.
I want to see a 15-foot fridge now. Like, does Shaq have a 15-foot fridge? It's insane.
For his like 4-liter Mountain Dews.
Got one in each hand, just guzzling them.
No, so that was a time where like afterwards, while we're all like having fun joshing around, there's a little bit of tension after that where he's like, oh, Seth's not being a cool DM, letting me jump 15 feet in the air. And I'm like, I'll let you make any other check. You just can't vertical it without a check, you know?
I'm like, oh, is there some, you know, some nooks and crannies in the rock? Like we can kind of like, you know, acrobat. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. Oh, like, since I have claws, can I have advantage on the climbing? Sure, you can have advantage, but you're going to make a check for me.
But not jumping a 15-foot vertical is insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, you know, that's one of the stories of time where there's been tension at the table because of a thing that somebody said or did. And I wanted to check in with you for advice on how you would handle these situations. There's been plenty of games you played without me around, so I want to know about your experience with that and how you would handle it.
I mean, that situation in particular, I think I would just have to be the jerk DM, right? And put my foot down and be like, I gave you your options. You cannot do this. This is not within the realm of possibility for you. Physically, this cat cannot jump 15 feet. So you have to do something else. You're welcome to try and jump 15 feet, but no matter what you roll, it's not going to happen. So maybe someone else can throw you. I think I would offer suggestions. Maybe that's the angle. I would put my foot down and say, you cannot do this. There's no way this is possible, but there are ways to achieve that, maybe with some help or some magic. Or like, do you have the jump spell? Is there, I don't know, do you have a way to attract or speak to birds? He's a druid, right? Maybe you could have a bird carry him up to the window or something like that. There are ways to do, right? And I think that's the angle I would take is this is what you want to do, by all means, but you cannot do it this way. There's no way it's going to happen. I think once you establish that, it starts forcing them to think of any other way to do it. Unfortunately, when that situation arises, it's like it just gets awkward at the table, I feel like sometimes. And the other people are going to start looking around or maybe taking sides, eyeballing each other, going, oh, God, that's really weird, rules lawyer guy, right? But it's something like that. It's just not reasonable.
So something that I'm prone to is whenever a situation like that arises, I start to my mind starts to race because I'm a very anxious person. So I start to think like, what did I do wrong, right? How can I be better? How can I fix this so that everybody doesn't feel this way anymore? Is that possible in these situations, or do you just kind of have to take it on the chin and keep going?
You can, I think, reduce it based on how you respond, right? Like if you're cool, calm, and collected, like a good DM should be, I think a lot of the time the other people at the table will start to go, okay, well, the DM is right here, so let's just kind of wait for this to pass, because there's that moment, right? There's no way to get rid of the awkwardness entirely. It's going to be there for a moment because there was this weird disagreement. You're supposed to be playing a game, right? It's like you're playing Candyland, right. Everyone's disagreeing. It makes sense. So you just have to accept a little bit of awkwardness and minimize it with your good DM skills, which is, no, this is the call and this is how it's going to be. So, I'll help you any other way you want, but this is how it's going to be. This is my call.
Yeah. Because I feel like with this is going to sound a little bit weird, but with the kinds of people that are into the hobbies that we're into, right? These situations can arise a lot because we're all very passionate. Like we all really, really care about the outcomes of the decisions and choices we make. And so these awkward situations arise way more often than I feel like they should. And I have another example of this, and I can see this being a D&D problem as well, which is I was playing a game last week with a couple of people, and one of the guys comes over. He's a stranger. He's never played a game with us before, and he's the entire time, every time he would make decisions, or every time he would say something, and it was constant. It was like this guy just never stopped talking. He was just talking and word vomiting, and every time he did it, it felt like he was talking to you like you were 5 learning something for the first time. And I'm like, I have had D&D and Magic the Gathering as my hobbies for a very, very long time. I know the rules, I know how they work, right? And while I'll make jokes all the time, you know what, I'll allow that to happen, I am the kind of person that it's extremely obvious that I'm not very serious at all. But this person was saying similar things, but in a way that was like, I know everything that's going to happen, and no matter what, I have the solution to every problem, so you do whatever you want, buddy, but I got it handled. That's the personality we're dealing with. And that makes me angry, but I want to slap him so bad. I want to outplay him just so I can be like, yeah, well, I knew you were going to do that. So I'm going to tell you what myself and my wife did, but I want your vibe on what you might do in this situation as well, for cooling it down. Where in the situation, the guy at the end, he's like, yeah, I usually play this one, this deck that I'm playing, because I'm just trying to have fun, I'm trying to be silly. And it was one of those that's so mega shut the game down for everybody else that it's haha, I'm being funny by doing whatever I want and everything, but it's helping her. See, you get to draw all these cards. And I'm like, yeah, that's great that I get to draw all these cards, but I don't get to use them. Is that kind of what game? And at the end, he was like, yeah, no, I usually just play it to be funny and just have a good time. And I said, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I had a horrible time. I was like, I did not have a good time. And he's like, oh, what? What do you mean? Why? And I said, I don't like being talked to like I'm 5. And at that point, I was like, anyways, cool, checked out. We'll see you later to our friend that was there. We'll see you next time. We're out of here, and we left.
Dang.
And our friend, he had a conversation with him later. He called me. He was like, "Hey, I had a talk with everything. Like, seemed like you guys were upset. Are you mad at me?" And I was like, "I'm not mad at you, dude. I don't. Everything's fine. We went to the store and bought ice cream. It's fine." But like, so in that kind of situation, I find that, especially when you're DMing, it's hard to be the person that speaks up, though, especially for a lot of people in our hobby. It's kind of like you go on Reddit and post about it. You don't talk about it. And I want to know if that's something you're comfortable with in these, because we have had situations where there's conflict, right? And we've been able to resolve it pretty seamlessly.
Yeah.
But if this was a group, like pretend it's a group of strangers, or you're for the first time playing with a group and maybe you're 10 sessions in and a problem arises with this group of people you've known for 10 sessions, like, are you able to like stop it there and resolve the situation with this person? Because I find that even though I have done it before and I did it this past week, there was still like, I don't want to play with this person again. So
Yeah.
I still find there's so much tension and awkwardness there, to the point where I don't know what it's going to be like next time when we go in.
I think that's really tough. So our table is obviously very different because we've been playing for so long. We're all friends in, real life and blah, 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 blah. So it's easy enough for us to resolve these things, I think, quickly. And we have in the past, like you mentioned. If it was a totally new group, let's say I think the example was 10 sessions in, we've been playing just recently, new people. I would like to think I would. I think the difficulty is the initial, do I actually flip that switch and do something about it? Or is it really not a big deal and do I let it go? That's, for me, I think, the hardest part. And if you're continuously thinking about it, chances are you need to flip the switch. You need to do something about it, right? Unfortunately, that's hard to do in the heat of the moment, in the session. 30 seconds after, it would have to be a pretty big deal for me to say, okay, I'm not comfortable with this. That was not a good call. We need to make sure that doesn't happen again, or whatever it may be, right? I think it's almost always, unless it's horrendous, a conversation for later that I'm more than happy to have.
Yeah.
I have no issue confronting people, especially if it's going to keep the game going, right? Because if a bunch of people are uncomfortable with something that happened, or someone's making some weird moves, talking to people like they shouldn't, making, in Magic, obviously, example of where they're making a deck that's just supposed to hold the game hostage of sorts. No one wants to do that. No one wants to come back next week and do that again, right? So it has to be addressed. You have to handle it. And if you don't, there's a good chance 2-3 people won't come back to the table. And then, well, now you've run 3 or 10 sessions deep into this campaign that you've latched onto your characters, you've leveled up, you've grown these character developments and connections, and then it's over.
This is going to sound a little bit, I don't know, weird, or like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I feel like table vibes are extremely important, especially in D&D, because if the vibes are off in any way, it feels like the game is a waste of time. And I hate feeling like bad D&D is worse than no D&D. I'd rather not play than have a bad time playing.
Oh, absolutely.
I would rather a session get canceled than play at all costs. And
absolutely. Yeah.
So that's where I struggle with it a little bit, because these hobbies take so much time. They take so much like bandwidth and effort and creativity that I struggle with the idea of shutting a game down or something like that. Or even like I told you in my first story, like I didn't resolve it in the heat of the moment. Like you said, it was something that like the person on the other end of the table had to come to terms with. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. Let me offer an alternative, because they don't agree with the decision that was made. Not everybody's going to do that. A lot of people are going to be like, yes, cool. I still got to do my thing, even though I missed it. Like a lot of people are going to be happy about that. So
yeah, no, it's true.
It is a very fine line that I find you have to walk with these kinds of things, because I don't know. Even I, being experienced with it, struggle to make someone feel bad. I think that's the big thing, is I really don't want to make someone feel bad, even if they're being a jerk.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to make anybody feel bad. I mean, maybe there are some exceptions, but I also don't feel like I would. Let's say I'm the DM in that situation with the cat thing, right? I don't think I would be making that person feel bad. I like to think I come up with, as a player, some creative solutions pretty semi-frequently.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll pitch it to you, but I say right up front, Seth, shoot me down if this, doesn't work. But this is kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And most of the time you say go with it and I make a roll and we're good to go, right? But I wouldn't feel bad if you shut it down. Like, okay, well, I had an idea, it didn't work. I'll just think of something else. It's a game of creative problem solutions, right? So why wouldn't you? Okay, oh man, I gave it a shot, it didn't work. Just try something else. It's not a big deal. Like I wouldn't feel bad about that if you shot it down, which is why I mentioned it in the heat of the moment. So I don't think it's really about making people feel bad. Maybe that happens in some tables. I guess I could see it. It just doesn't happen at our table.
Yeah.
I need to play with more people outside of my wheelhouse, I think, to get some better ideas.
That's my problem is I'm comfortable with D&D being a once a week thing that I do with my friends, and I get scared about the idea of going outside my bubble because that means making a new group of people and resolving issues. Or I'm like, I like my D&D bubble where it's at. I don't want the bubble to get big to where like part of it deflates and pops. And I'm like, no, why? Yeah. Someone who does do this often is Chase. He plays in multiple groups right now where he's like playing with his work friends, he's playing with us, and I'm impressed by that because I'm like, man, as someone who was the most like not involved in it, he's now playing more than all of us who are like self-proclaimed experts at D&D.
He's going to surpass us. He's going to become the ultimate DM, and he's going to run forever.
He's going to have like the 5 Infinity DM stones.
He did get the 5 Infinity Bells several years ago to end or to save Christmas. So, no big deal. But I'm impressed. I would like to play some more, but to your point, I don't know if I want my bubble to be that big. I like my bubble. It's very comfortable in here.
Yeah.
It's climate controlled. And I don't want to deal with anything else.
Well, and I've actually found that with the pace that we're going at, since we have been pretty consistent about at least doing one-offs as opposed to just having to play main campaign every week, and if it's not happening, then we just scrap the session for the week. Outside of D&D time, I'm thinking about it pretty consistently, and I'm getting good story ideas and stuff based on other things I'm doing outside that are related. Like this week, I wanted to like play something new, so I started playing Ace Attorney on my 3DS, which I don't know if you've seen
on Core Pass, I think.
I don't know, but yeah, the Ace Attorney games are fun, and I have the trilogy on my 3DS, and so I was like, you know what? I've seen these. I've interacted with one of the games for like an hour one time and thought it was cool. Let me jump in, and so I started playing, and I was like, okay, now I'm addicted. Now I'm gonna be playing for a little bit, and so that's given me some fun ideas around like, okay, how can you gamify like crimes and stuff in a D&D game, and like, or not necessarily a courtroom setting, but more like investigation style stuff. Sort of like when you and I in college, we prepped that murder mystery party.
Oh my god!
You remember when we did that?
Fun.
You remember we did that? Okay, so
I got stabbed that day.
I have a core memory that evolved from that little party we threw. And I think we've done a good job talking about the main topic, which was the resolving stuff at the table. So this was a funny situation in college with you and I, where it was my job to message everybody their roles, right? And it was your job to get like all the papers and stuff ready for like handouts to give to everybody.
I trust you that's true.
So we had a Snapchat for all the RAs. And so I'm messaging everyone individually through our Snapchat, like, okay, you're coming to the party. Cool. Here's your role. Boom. And the role was like their archetype for who they are as a person, just slightly misnamed. So that way they wouldn't have to like get into super into character one time. And we came up with an archetype called the hot musician for someone. And that was one of the characters in this murder mystery party. And so I messaged the hot musician and give them their script. And it was really funny because I sent them a thing. I was like, hi, hot musician Eric, this is your name, and their description of who they are, which is supposed to be like they're a lady killer, or I guess a man killer because it was a girl. And they
killed somebody.
Yeah, and they go through send them their whole thing, and they just message me back, Seth, what is this? ? And it's one of those moments where you cringe from like ear to ear because you're like, they think that I'm messaging them this because they're not smart. They didn't read it. No. They didn't like read it all, you know? They didn't go through the whole thing and read it. And so I message back and I go, hot musician Eric, this is your role for the murder mystery party tonight. And they were like, oh my God, I thought you sent me that. And I was like, no, I didn't. I wasn't telling you. I wasn't calling you a hot musician, but like that. It was one of those moments where it's like, no, stop, please, please. I can't have you thinking this.
It's so fun. And now you have to deal with the after effect of, man, do they still think I sent that? Do they think I was just covering up?
Do they secretly think that I think this about them? That's the worst part, where you think that afterwards you're like, oh, do they secretly still think this? And now it's awkward. It wasn't. It was totally fine. But
I mean, it had to have been. We literally threw this whole murder mystery party. So it's not like it was a bluff. It was a real thing that we were doing.
We were doing it in like 4 hours from then. Like it was happening like very, very soon. So that
worked out. That was a super fun party, actually.
It was very fun. The really difficult part, having recently watched a YouTube video where people did a murder mystery, I'm like, oh, I see some things we could have done better in there, because nobody guessed the right person. Everybody guessed it was Patrick, if you remember that.
I don't know.
Everybody guessed that it was Patrick because he was the loudest person in the room, just talking about everything. He was like going off, and then he didn't use any of his clues and stuff. What we needed to do,
oh, that's right. Yes.
We needed to have everybody go around the room and say their clues out loud, so that way everybody could piece it together, as opposed to like having them.
They did as intended.
No, they didn't happen as intended. They would like slowly reveal clues, and then whenever they were doing it, everybody would start talking about the one clue, like, obviously he did it because this reason. We'd be like, well, no, because this person over here who's not speaking knows a piece of information they're not saying. It was also just too many people. We needed to do it with like, 8 to 10 people, not with 20 plus.
Yeah, no, it was huge. To be honest, I don't remember the outcome of it. I'm glad that it has this lasting effect on you. But I don't remember most of it. I remember I had an absolute blast, and I remember because I was the murdered. So I remember being in the other room, and I was trying to play really good. So I was trying to like act it top tier, and I'm not an actor or anything. So I was just trying to play dead, and people start knocking on the door, going, "Oh man, Drew's in there! Like what's he doing? And why is the doors? Is he okay?" And people start pounding on the door, and I'm getting freaked out. Like people are pounding on this door right now. And they came in and they carried me away. I don't remember if they were supposed to.
If you remember properly, we were pounding on the door, and I was at the door going, Drew, I need you to open the door. Like I was trying to get you to come out because we lost the key to that room, and we couldn't get in to get you. So we're all trying to get in because I legitimately can't come in to tell you that you're good. And so no one can discover the body for the first 45 minutes of this murder mystery. No one can discover the body. You know why? Because we lost the key to the room because someone had left it. We asked someone to bring it and they didn't bring it, and we didn't realize it until after the first 30 minutes after everybody ate.
Oh no, that's hysterical.
Yeah, and so finally we get someone to run and get a key. They open the door, we discover you, carry you out, and then I remember you came back to the party because I was dressed up as a character. You came back to the party as me.
yes. And it was terrible. I had like this drawn on beard, and I had this muscle shirt on.
Yeah, you had a wife beater on.
Yeah, people were super confused. I was like, "Oh no, I'm Seth. This is completely."
You're like, "It's me, Seth, the head RA."
Well, I didn't want to die and not be involved. So like, I'm definitely coming back to participate. And to this day, I don't know if I ever told you this. There's a picture of me when I walked back into the room that was used in a future PowerPoint training session for that group of people. And I have no idea why or the context. I never found out.
Wait, and you were dressed like that?
Yes. I'm in some sort of training PowerPoint for the college. I have no idea. I never found out why or what the context was. I had asked the person who
had this picture.
I'll tell you after. It was somebody, Eric, that we happened to know at the time, and threw it together. So I don't know what I would love to this day. I think back, why is that picture there? Are they still using it? Is there still a photo of me in this wife beater and a drawn mustache for like some sort of HR training? Like
I know for a fact there's like posters and stuff around the college, and you're on one of them, right?
I am. That's a terrible. I'll tell you the super short, terrible version of that story. I had stayed up literally all night studying for a test. I don't think it was you and me for like a Spanish course or something, but I stayed up all night studying for this test. I think I did pretty good. But the point was, I'm just obliterated. I have these huge bags under my eyes. I'm like just stumbling through the halls trying to get to this test, right? I'm like, I'm just gonna go to bed after this test. That's it. I don't even have to go to my other class. I just need to ace this test and go back to bed. So I'm walking down the way, and we'll say Administrator Eric walks over to me and goes, "Hey, Drew, can you take these photos for the school's paper or whatever it may be?" I'm like, "Oh God, oh no, it's fine, it's take a minute." I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm posed up in the in the bookstore, trying to look so happy with this one other person. I look over this person, just dead eyes, like, "I'm so sorry, I'm doing my best." And I'm trying to look happy, like, promoting the merch and everything. So there's actual photos of me boosting the merch for this school, and I just look terrible. Like, there's people looking at this photo going, "I'm not going to the school. They work these kids to death." And it was horrific.
I remember, so I was involved heavily in a lot of stuff around the school, especially when it came to event running. And I became, I think, the epitome of like that episode of SpongeBob where they're doing the ad for the Krusty Krab, and like SpongeBob's hand is in the photo, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's me," because every time there was a chance to be in something, I missed it. Like it's like I would see pictures of like friends or acquaintances or people that like I knew doing their thing. And every single time I like would miss it by a minute or two. I'd be like, "Oh, you guys took pictures for that?" And now there's pictures all over the campus of people I knew when we were in school. And I'm like, "Oh, well, I could have been a part of that one. I could have been, forever immortalized." And guess what? I'm not.
Be happy you're not. You could be in some sort of training PowerPoint. So just take it as
I
it
would
is.
love that. I want people to ask why I had a beard drawn on.
I don't want that. I want to be forgotten. It's okay. I
want someone to send me a text randomly like, "Hey, I saw you in this picture at the school and your phone number was attached to the picture. And so now I'm texting you so you can come back and take more pictures for us." And I'd be like, "Yay, okay, I'll do it." Yeah. I like the attention.
Honestly though, if they reached out, if this organization reached out and said, "Seth, Drew, we need you to run another murder mystery," I'd be all in.
Oh, for sure.
I 100% would do it. I do it for free.
I remember at the time we talked about it. I was like, "Dude, we should." Oh, someone, a different administrator, Eric, event running administrator, Eric, told us like, "You should take this on the road. You boys should take this on the road." I don't know if you remember that person.
I do remember that person.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's like, "You boys should take this on the road." And I was like, "Ooh, okay. You know what? We should take this on the road. We should just write up like 6 of these and be like, choose your murder mystery. This one's in space. This one's in this." And we should do this for big wigs that, and it's like we do 2 a month and each one costs $3,000.
I remember actually sitting down with you and talking about doing this as a real thing and actually putting the work in. I don't remember the reason we didn't. I want to say, frankly, just from my perspective, I didn't realize how much work goes into setting up a murder mystery.
It's a
really
lot.
didn't think it would be that hard. Apparently, I don't know if you thought it was going to be that much work, but I remember like grinding for this and being stressed. Like, this is going to be good.
I went online and looked at free murder mystery downloads to write the murder mystery. Like I remember we were there and I was like, "Well, I don't want to just buy one of these because each one's like 8 to 12 players and we have 25 people." And so I was sitting there like, "Oh, well, how am I going to do this?" So I went on there, I looked at the structure, I downloaded a free PDF and was like, "Okay, let me scroll through. Okay, cool. They do this, they do this, they do this. I'll do the same thing." And then exact same thing. And we had a murder at the RA office.
And I would say it worked. I would say 90% was pretty clean.
Is it not?
I'd do it again.
Is murder mystery not just LARPing though?
I mean, pretty much. I think that's why I thought it was going to be easier though, because we've been playing D&D for a while.
Yeah.
Like, we make up stories all the time. Like, why would this be difficult? But it is. It's very difficult.
I hand drew all my maps at this time. How was it going to be that hard?
But it was extremely difficult because there were so many people. Normally you play, if there's 30 people, you're playing 28 of them, and there's 2 people that you're running for, or whatever it may be, right? So I think the fact that there was real people all doing things, you can't force them to do stuff because you're not like, "Oh, roll for perception," and you can control what they're doing. No, these people can do whatever they want because they're in the office, all chatting with each other, just living it up. And it was a blast, but damn, that was hard. That was rough.
Yeah, I definitely think it could be a really cool, really fun idea. You email every office in, I don't know, the greater Charlotte area and say, "Hey, we have this thing." A good 10% of them are going to email you back and tell you yes, and then you're paid for the year. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
no,
you could do that stuff, and it's a great business idea. Now, I don't live in the greater Charlotte area anymore, so I can't do that, and I'm not doing it without you. So probably not going to happen. But this is, that's where the whole D&D thing comes in. You get good at DMing. Now all of a sudden you're DMing for offices and having them decide who killed the boss.
I did do a murder mystery outside of that organization at one time, and it was absolutely incredible. I had such a blast, and it was because there was one person leading the charge and creating that. It was actually Good Old Gamer, and he had created the best murder mystery I had ever attended. I had no idea until the very end who it was when he announced it. Perfect plot twist, perfect story. Good Old Gamer, absolutely incredible. If you guys want to chat with him about maybe some sort of murder mystery D&D story, I don't know, why don't you pop into our Patreon, tabletalkfriday.com. It'd be a pretty kick butt. Join in the comments, chat it up, shoot us some emails, whatever you got.
Patreon.com/tabletalkfriday. I'll correct him there.
That's what I said. See, Good Old Gamer never would have screwed that up. No, I'm just saying.
No.
Pop in and say hi to him.
He would have been the perfect host for a murder mystery party. Thank you, Good Old Gamer.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
So, I think one last thing I want to go over before ending this episode, because I think we still got like 10 more good minutes in us, is we got a big session coming up, and we've had big sessions coming up for the past 4 sessions of this campaign, and I think tonight's the night we finally finish the month-long heist we have been on.
I hope so. I don't even remember where. I need you to remind me of where we're at, because I feel like we've been in the same sort of, what do you call it, like dungeon grind for a couple sessions, like you were saying, and the dragons and people peeing and throwing people off walls and getting arrested. I don't even remember.
It's crazy because you'd think, with all of the experience we have as a group, with the dungeons we have gone through where we just kind of blaze through a bunch of rooms, that this castle, I was thinking maybe 2 weeks it would take us to go through it. I was thinking, 2-part heist. Every time I've had to prep, I've had to go back to my notes and change the notes for like my session roadmap, one more down, and add another session of the heist in. Because I had heist part 1 and heist part 2 in my session plan, and it was going to end, like the arc was going to end at like 11 sessions. Every time I've had to go, okay, heist part 3, heist part 4, and then change it to like session 12, session 13, session 14. Because it's been going for so long in a great way, mind you. So last we left off with you guys, you finally made your way to the vault, where the one item that you locate object that you needed was. Yes. You made your way into this vault, and there was a dragon inside, a young dragon, mind you, not an adult dragon like the one you had spotted before, but there was a young dragon inside, and he was just very, very protective of this horde, and there was a guard that was in there as well that was kind of mind controlling the dragon, not like perfectly, but kind of subduing him, having it do his bidding, kind of like a suggestion. And you guys got rid of the guard. You got to the dragon and you talked it down to the point where this, this young dragon is like, okay, I'm friends with you now, basically. And now you guys are going into a 2-pronged attack on the rest of the place, where you have to save the princess, you have to release, you've decided to release the solar dragon wormlings, and you need to shoot off a flare so Suds Hudson can come save you. And I want you to know, Drew, I almost texted this to the group earlier. I was on a run, and I finished the run portion, and I was just walking back to my destination because I kind of like did an out and back. And so I'm walking back, and I'm listening to this video about Eberron, and I just start giggling to myself because I'm just thinking about Suds Hudson, because it's the funniest name I could possibly think. And I'm just walking and I'm going, it's such a stupid name.
It really is. It's a fantastic name.
In my mind, until earlier today, I didn't even know what Suds Hudson looked like. But I was like, wait a second, I've had this thing prepped. Who's going to actually pick them up whenever they have to do this? And I was like, I would have had to do this in the moment in the session if I don't do it now. So I finally know who Suds Hudson is, and I'm so excited for him to arrive.
Well, it's perfect. I'm going to cast Legend Lore on him when he shows up.
Oh, okay, cool. So we'll just tell you his whole history.
Yeah, if you just want to send the PDF over now so you can just drop it into the session, that would be ideal. Ooh. But I'm excited. I have no idea what you're going to do with this guy. I'm expecting him to be silly or like some sort of rebel resistance leader kind of a vibe. I really don't know. Yeah.
Now, would you like to get a little teaser for, I don't know if I'm actually going to use this for all like the campaign 3 stuff, but it's an idea I have for the title. I'm not sure, months are going to go by. I'm not sure if this is exactly what I want to do, but this is only if the group decides we are playing in Eberron. If we're not playing in Eberron, I'm not going to do this idea.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it going to be the co-op adventures of Captain Benny and Suds Hudson?
You wish that was going to be it, but I would love to see that at some point. The Suds Hudson Captain Benny crossover.
That'd be so good.
So if it's an Eberron, the title will be Eberron, comma. Oh, thank you. Eberron, comma. The day that the sky disappeared. Yeah,
That's
pretty lit,
That's
right?
Okay.
Pretty lit.
Are you thinking about tying it into like Eberron lore?
Yes.
Or like
yes. So, do you know the creation myth of Eberron?
I do not.
So I was listening to a lot of Eberron stuff today, and I was like, I don't really know how I'll tie it into setting stuff along with the greater story that's being told over all this time. And the creation myth of Eberron is there were 3 progenitor dragons, right? One of them named Eberron, that's the material plane where you're at. One of them, let me pull their names up so I don't mess up. Wrong things are going to be on the screen for me for a second, but it's okay.
Am I supposed to see all of your notes for campaign 3?
No. Progenitor dragons. So I don't want to mess any of this up. So there was Sybaris or Cyberus, there was Eberron, and there was Kyber, right?
Are you sure it's not Sud Hudson?
Not Sud Hudson.
That's crazy.
And these 3 progenitor dragons were like basically just the gods of the world or whatever. At one point, Sybaris decides, I don't like this guy, and murders Kyber.
Oh,
and
crap.
Eberron tries to stop this kind of in a peaceful way. So Eberron surrounds Kyber, making Kyber kind of the underworld type section.
Oh.
Eberron is the material plane, the section we're in, and then Kyber, or not Kyber, Sybaris is then the sky. Sybaris' corpse, because he died, is then the sky that's like left over. So these are the 3 different places that exist in Eberron. So I kind of wanted to like tie that in a little bit for some reason, the day the sky disappeared. And so I thought that was a cool idea. And then just start from ground level where you guys are level 1 or 3 adventurers.
Okay, so that's super cool. The title is definitely hooking me. Is this now you're tying these dragon sort of Eberron lore into it? Is that always sort of the idea you had, or because now we're bringing Eberron into this, this is the way you're tying it in?
So yeah, that I plan on it having like tying in somehow, but I'm not exactly sure. I know where the campaign leads. I know a lot of the big overlying like plot points I would like to hit and where we would get to at the end, but because we haven't all sat down and talked about who we're playing and what we're doing, I haven't decided where that story exactly leads yet.
Okay.
But I definitely don't want to tackle things like the morning and the last war and all that, because I feel like one of the big points of Eberron is getting through and getting like, it's kind of the hopefulness of these great nations that existed in the past. I think it was Siri or something like that was the nation that exploded in the morning. It was the Mornland, the big nuke hit or whatever, and it disappeared.
Siri, Alexa.
So once that nation was like boom, wiped off the map, people didn't forget about it. They see it as this great Tolkien-esque place that was perfect, right? Because these people don't really know everything about it anymore. So this place was perfect in our eyes, and now we have to get past that. So I don't really want to tackle like all the history past stuff. It's more like taking the setting of Eberron, moving it into the future.
I like that.
So
okay, so you're tackling very different topics from what people normally talk about in this setting, which I think is neat, because we've done similar things in Avernus, right, where we went much further than the basic layers of hell, right? So I like that, taking sort of the module or the setting, the environment, and just pushing it to its limits and seeing where else it goes. That's fun. I'm really into that. I know you had sent a video out in our group chat recently about Eberron. I'm gonna have to listen to it soon and get kind of immersed in it. It sounds like that's what everyone wants to do, is run into Eberron, and I'm super excited about diving into it and learning more about it. I really don't.
The video, so for the audience out there, it's Pointy Hat. He recently hit 500,000 subscribers. Yay.
Ooh.
And the video is really good. It's a huge, like, 2-hour deep dive into Eberron, and I loved listening to it. I was like, you know what? I don't know everything about it, so I'm just going to listen to it while I'm working out. And I listened to the whole video, and I was like, damn, I really want to run this setting now. Like, because there were a lot of cool things involved there, and I really want to involve the dragon marked houses and stuff in some way, but what I'm thinking about for character creation for you guys is giving you a couple specific dragon marks you can choose from instead of being like, yeah, create whatever, right? Because I kind of want to tie them into the story and character creation. So like, hey, if one of you has a character idea that can use this dragon mark, use it. If not, it's okay.
Okay, I like that because you're sort of funneling the characters into a role that might be more fun for them. You know, like obviously still using all their own creativity and their own choice. They don't have to do that. But saying, hey, if you want to fill this slot, it would be really cool if you did that.
Yeah,
that's kind of neat.
Now, one more question I have for you is, there are some really cool racial changes and class artificer changes with the new Eberron book that they kind of talked about. I don't really know all of them in like specifically, but I would say things like the artificer got buffed. A lot of the races got buffs to them. So pretty good ones. So I'm debating in my head now because I'm like, oh, do I let them use the 2024 ones, or do I just say, we're going to use all the 2014 material? Because I don't want someone to choose 2014 and feel like, oh, but they get to play the buffed 2024 race. That's like better, or that's unfair.
Oh, that's a fun one. That might be one. That might be one we need to tackle exclusively in the.
We can do that. We can do that.
It's gonna be a deep dive.
Yeah. So if you know what, if you want to hear the answers to these questions, you got to go over to patreon.com/tabletalkfriday, where we do a 20 to 30 minute post show every week. We will see you guys there. Thank you for listening. Oh wait, no, I know, I'm not cutting it off there. I got to get someone to take us out. So with that, I need for the progenitor Drew-agon to take us out.
I am Drew the progenitor dragon, one of 5. Kaiba and Sybaris and Suds Hudson. We're all really good friends. And if you dive into the lore of Eberron, you really hear a lot about me. So check us out, in Eberron lore.
Progenitor Drew-agon, dude.